Greetings and welcome to episode 13 of Spiritual Practices for Tough Time as we come to the end of April on April 30th. Thank you so much for joining with me wherever you are and however you're doing. I hope you're well and finding moments of peace and beauty and joy in this time and all these times of everything's happening. I am so grateful that you're joining us and that you're welcoming us into your kitchen or your patio or you're downstairs in your living room or somewhere. And I hope that today that you'll find some meaning and moments of quietness for your hearts and minds as we gather today. We light our candle as a reminder that there is a sacred light that's within you and me and all around us. And also we light this candle in our hearts and in our prayers for everyone that's being deeply affected by COVID-19 and for our doctors and nurses and first responders, those who might be grieving the loss of those who've died from COVID-19 or right now struggling with it themselves, or maybe you are struggling with being isolated and by yourself. Remember that there is a light within you and around you. As always, I have my favorite cup of jasmine tea. I hope you have a cup of something, a tea, coffee, or something stronger if you're watching this later in the day. It just reminds me that we're in communion, that we're connected by this light and this flow of life, and that we are not alone as we go on this journey. To start our time today, I'd like to invite us into a time of mindful practice or meditation or contemplation. You can call it a spiritual practice. One of the easiest ways that we can do a mindful practice or a meditation or a contemplative practice is being aware of our breath as we breathe in and we breathe out. So I'm going to ring our meditation bell here in a second, and then I'll invite you to close your eyes, and I'll lead us on a guided meditation of coming into our breath and into our body and into this present moment here together. So let us begin. So I invite you to close your eyes and begin to feel your body. Begin to feel your feet on the floor. Feel your derriere on your chair. Allow yourself to just gently relax wherever you are, no matter what is happening or what emotions you might be experiencing or thoughts. Just try to be here. And whatever is waiting for you, know that it will be there and everything will flow. So take in a deep breath. Feel your breath coming through your nose and your throat and into your chest. And if you have any tension that you notice in your body, just allow that tension. You might want to visualize it just leaving as you breathe out. Maybe your neck is tight or your shoulders. Maybe you're finding you're clenching your fingers or your toes. Just breathe in gentleness to your body and presence and love and compassion. And as you breathe out, just let go. If you begin to feel that as you're breathing in and out, you start to cling to a thought or patterns of thoughts or worries or anxieties or what ifs, maybe somebody's upsetting you or you feel pressure or you're hoping that something happened, just imagine that you allow that to go out with your breath. And just come back to breathing. breathe in and breathe out. Be here now. Let go. Allow your mind to relax into your heart. And allow your heart, as you breathe in and breathe out, to relax into your body. And as you practice this, maybe you start to feel that you're becoming more centered in your body and here and now. Maybe you feel this strange sense of warmth starting to emanate from your heart and chest region. Without understanding why, maybe you feel an expanse growing, a presence that is loving and flowing. Just allow yourself to fall into it, to let go into it, to breathe in and to breathe out and to just be. Take a couple more slow and mindful breaths. And as you gently come back into the room and gently open your eyes, do you see beauty around you? Do you see joy? Is there something you are grateful for? How do you feel in your body now? Is your mind a bit quieter? Do you sense that underlying calm that in a way is always with us? One of the words that I love for the word God, or translation, is called breathing life. In a way, following our breath as a practice is a wonderful way just to come into life. Because life is this constant, ever-moving flow. You just have to look at nature, for instance, to see how life is always this flow that has no judgments, that has no beginning or end. It's always flowing. If you want to change the state of your mind and the content of your heart, all you really need to do is to do 15 seconds, maybe 20 if you're like me, of just focusing mindfully on your breath and letting go. And when you open your eyes, you'll see the world differently. Now that doesn't mean in another 10 or 15 or 30 seconds, if your life is really riled up or something is really chewing on your mind like a chihuahua on your leg, that you might have to come back to that. But spiritual practices are here to help us develop an open mind and open awareness, beginner's mind really, as our Buddhist friends talk about, that how do we have a beginner's mind in every moment? A beginner's mind is that how do we approach every moment of our life with no predetermined ideas or judgments? How do we have, like when we observe children, that playfulness and curiosity, that even when terrible stuff happens, that they're real with it, but then they have this curiosity, and that they sort of reset their mind, and they have this beginner's mind that's just has wonder and openness. In this Headspace video, they talk about what beginner's mind might look like in a meditation practice or a spiritual practice.
Enjoyable one will be repeated, or perhaps fearing that a more challenging one will reappear. The trouble is, these ideas, our hopes and our fears, can really get in the way of a direct experience of the breath, of this moment. Because rather than observing the mind as it is, allowing it to naturally unfold, we're busy trying to create an idea of what we would like it to look like instead. That's why it's helpful to approach meditation with what's known as beginner's mind. It means sitting down without any preconceptions or assumptions, with no idea of what we'll find or what the outcome will be. So it's a very innocent mind. It's a bit like the way young children interact with the world, with a sense of curiosity and wonder. And there's a certain amount of delight inherent in that interest in the world. Kids aren't thinking about the outcome necessarily. They simply enjoy exploring for its own sake. So with beginner's mind, we're going into each meditation, recognizing that the experience is new. The mind is different. The conditions are different. And so rather than comparing our current experience to our expectation, we're actually present, interested in the body and mind as it is in this moment.
So spiritual practices are here to help cultivate in our body and heart and mind a way of approaching both when we're breathing or doing our meditation practice or yoga or walking meditation, doing the labyrinth, all sorts of different spiritual practices. They're cultivate how do we have a direct experience of reality with wonder and curiosity and not looking for outcomes. This is a wonderful way to approach life. In our Christian lineage, we'd say, Jesus would say, where your heart is, there's your treasure. Or where your treasure is, there's your heart. So what you focus on in your awareness or heart is what you're going to experience. So if we're always in our mind hoping to experience an outcome, or if we're actually afraid of experiencing an outcome, we're going to try and control everything. And then actually our heart and our mind and bodies are going to shut down. And it's going to become more of an experience of suffering, experience of pushing, of manipulating, and we're actually not interacting with the flow of life. And there's consequences to this. So spiritual practices are about rewiring how we approach our lives and our world. And John Kabat-Zinn, who's a professor of mindfulness and also created the Center for Mindfulness and works with stress and stress reduction, talks about how cultivating this idea of our heart and beginner's mind really helps us in our daily life.
Beginner's mind is a lovely orientation to bring to the present moment. This moment is always fresh, always new. We've never been in this one before. And yet we bring so many ideas and attitudes and desires to every moment that we can't actually allow ourselves much of the time to see things as if for the first time. Imagine bringing awareness to your children with beginner's mind so that you actually see them not through your lenses of ideas and opinions about your children, but fresh, the miracle of them, the amazing nature of them. So this is something that we could bring to any moment. It has the virtue of sometimes we're so expert that our minds are just full of, our expertise, but it leaves us without any realm for novelty or new possibilities. In the mind of the expert, they say there are very few possibilities, but in the beginner's mind, there are infinite possibilities because we come to it fresh. So it's a kind of a discipline to try to bring beginner's mind to every aspect of your life and not be so stuck in our ideas and opinions about how much we like this or don't like that, or what the outcome of a particular situation might be. And when we come to things with this freshness, it actually, again, has tremendous transformative qualities associated with it. And when you bring it to other people and you're open and spacious with them and don't insist that they be the way they were half an hour ago or 2 years ago or whatever it is, they feel seen and recognized and met in a way that they might not otherwise experience. That benefits them, and it also benefits us.
So, spiritual practices are not so that we can escape to some land of unicorns and candy corn and fantasy. Spiritual practices and this cultivation of an open mind or beginner's mind or a heart of awareness is how do we approach things with a freshness and a respect, even in these tough times, and particularly in these tough times. These tough times may include just our reactions to COVID-19 and the economic stress. It could include all the normal things that were happening before, but are still happening. Struggling with grief, struggling with relationships, struggling with ourselves. How do we begin to have a curiosity where we don't have to push stuff away? So beginner's mind, or I like to say, has these qualities to them. It's a trust in the sacred flow of the moment, that there's something always unfolding and emerging. It's not labeling situations or people or ourselves as good or bad. It's maintaining an open-hearted curiosity. It's actually even being real and having humility about our limitations. That we do have limitations, and it's okay. And it's having a gentleness towards life and others. And what that leads us to is to realize that part of us thinks that we can guide ourselves and our way through life purely by the power of intellect. But this just creates suffering. And so a spiritual practice, and these cultivating today, as we're talking about, beginner's mind or an open mind, what it does is it helps us breath by breath, moment by moment, develop this inner skill, this inner muscle that we can flex to make choice and awareness in each moment. Are we going to go more towards suffering or how we deal with suffering, or are we going to go more towards qualities of humility and openness and wonder and curiosity and kindness? Sharon Salzberg, in this video from Happify, talks about how we can cultivate these qualities.
There is a story, usually attributed to the Native American tradition, which illuminates different ways of paying attention. An elder, talking to a child, says, "I have 2 wolves fighting in my heart. One wolf is fearful, vengeful, envious, resentful, and deceitful. The other wolf is compassionate, loving, generous, truthful, and peaceful." The child asks, "Which wolf will win the fight?" The elder responds, the one I feed. That doesn't mean we try to deny or hurt or kill the angry wolf. If we did that, we'd end up in a long battle, all the while somehow making that wolf more powerful through our hostility and fear. Hating that wolf sucks the strength right out of us. Instead, we calmly pay attention to the angry wolf and let go of believing they have the answers. If we can do that, they end up lying down next to us, no longer an enemy. We help strengthen the kind and loving wolf, giving it nourishment and support so that we can follow it. That peaceful wolf can become our steady companion and show us the way through all kinds of different life experiences. Restful or chaotic, enjoyable or disappointing experiences may come and go, but we can have a guide with us through it all. This is what mindfulness can help you do. Mindfulness allows us to see our thoughts and feelings as they are beginning. It's very powerful to know what we're feeling as we're feeling it, know what we're thinking as we're thinking it. With mindfulness, we can choose what will strengthen and bring into action, and we can choose what we will gently let go of. We don't have to be at the mercy of old habits or old ways of thinking or old ways of being. We are empowered. It just takes practice.
So does this make sense to you? Do you see where this is flowing? Do you see the opportunity for you in your life and your relationships and how you live life? It takes practice. It takes being in the moment, and it takes failing, and it takes trying again, and it's all okay. But what it will do if we pursue this, and I think it's so important during these tough times, to have these practices, is it helps us feed the part of us which is connected to the sacred flow of God, if you want to say it that way, to life and love and kindness. What it does is helps us feed that and helps us find a way through whatever's happening. For Marguerite of this Green Renaissance video, this is what happens when she practices beginner's mind, when she feeds the wolf that brings life.
Openness comes from difficulties. I think you have to work at it when things are not that easy or the wind is blowing too fiercely. To be joyful and to be happy, it is a conscious choice. You keep on saying, but I don't want to feel like this if this happens. It may be that's what I dance to. You dance away from things as well as dancing towards things. Body and movement has always been a way in which I can express myself. That's what led me to Tai Chi. Because everything is based on nature, you are moving like water, or you are as alert as a cat waiting to catch a mouse, or as powerful as a hawk. It centers me, it makes me unbelievably healthy, and it's very good to be that way and to not walk out in the street and have aches and pains. Well, my big birthday was number 80. My husband woke me up with saying, "Good morning, 29,525. Life for me has been like a tapestry that's woven with all the threads of what was fascinating, what was beautiful, the people, the places. I think I've always explored and never stayed in the rut. Taking time to explore different things, you uncover the most divine treasures. You must explore, you must find where you belong. Go and listen and look and hear and love everybody and love everything. The art of living, it's taking each moment, each movement, each action, each relationship with care. So who knows what happens, but the journey is going to be good.
So, when we get caught in an energy or a state where we lack beginner's mind, and don't judge ourselves if that's the case, because it happens all the time. You should see me. Then we don't have this wonder and curiosity and this trust. Part of spiritual practices is letting go of our disbelief and distrust in the unknown. And when we do that, then we can open ourselves to life in all its fullness, no matter what is happening. Because life has proven this for 14 billion years, that something will emerge. And it's usually what we not expect. And we're going to be okay. And so spiritual practices, all about cultivating that. So end our time, I'd just like to lead us in one last guided meditation, where we're going to sit beside a stream. We're going to imagine all our thoughts, all our judgments, like mine when I was at Canadian Tire yesterday or the day before, and it looked like there was no pandemic, and my mind was judging people and all sorts of things. We're just going to let all those things go on the boats as they go by, and just be in a moment of openness and curiosity and wonder. It's not about being perfect. It's not about being right. It's not about having any outcome. It's about just being. So I invite you to close your eyes as I ring the meditation bell. Just to take a deep breath and let go of all the thinking you might have had about what we've just talked about. Maybe you understood it, maybe you didn't, doesn't really matter. Just imagine yourself sitting by a stream, a brook. Imagine the soft ground beneath you, the dappled and filtered sunlight hitting your face, your body, warming you on one of those beautiful spring days. Maybe a slight, very slight breeze so you can hear the leaves through the trees. Then you hear the gentle murmur of the stream or the creek or the brook running past you. And if you allow yourself, it's just like it carries away all the thinking and the intellect of your brain that wants to plan and organize and tell people and yourself what to do in the world and come up with a 10-point plan. You just let that gurgle away down the stream and all your emotions. And you just breathe. And if you find yourself that you jump on one of these boats or thoughts or sensations going down the creek or the brook or stream, just take a conscious breath in and out and come back into your body and being present by the stream. Spiritual practice is this simple. Breathing in, breathing out. It's not judging your thoughts or emotions that will come and go like a boat, a little paper boat on the stream, on the brook. Just breathing in, breathing out, and being. Letting yourself fall into the flow of here and now. Letting the past be what it was and the future be unknown. Maybe as you do this, you'll start to feel this trust within you. It's unexplainable. Even a trust of yourself. And you'll realize that no matter what you've done, what you've left undone, what is to do, even our mistakes and limitations and weaknesses, it's okay. It doesn't change the beauty and the miracle of your life and life. And there's something waiting within you and around you, calling you to trust. Take one last deep breath. Just let go. I hope you can take this energy into your day. It's hard sometimes, isn't it? It's hard when we watch the news, when someone pisses us off, someone says something stupid. We start to label and we judge and we think things should be a certain way. If that happens, it's okay. Just take a deep breath and let go and see if we could come back to feeding that moment of curiosity and wonder and being part of the miracle of life which is flowing all around us. So thank you for tuning in again. Blessings to you and your family. Stay smart, stay safe, and stay healthy. Take care until we meet again.